I've got my bow fishing setup. It's close. Can't bow fish?
It's a firearm.
What is going on, fellow fishing adventurers? So today we have a little bit of a different video for y'all. Today's plan was to go out and do some bow fishing for the first time for me and for the channel. I've never made a bow fishing video. I've never really been bow fishing, but I have a pretty nice compound bow set up, rigged up for bow fishing. So we decided to go out, me and my dad, early in the morning and try and make a cool video doing some bow fishing. Now, that's where things kind of take a turn. I've seen countless of videos where fishermen get yelled at by angry people, random people, you know, trying to get kicked out even if they're in the right. I was pretty sure that someday that would happen to me, considering how much I'm out on the water, especially this summer. I fished at least 3 or 4 times a week this summer, and sadly, it did happen. Well, I don't know if it was sadly, it was also kind of cool because it was a good learning experience, and thankfully my camera was recording the whole time. But yes, I did have my first, I don't know what you would call it, just angry person encounter while bow fishing. So not really fishing, but so I don't want to talk too much. I do want to throw y'all back to the footage of us, you know, doing the normal intro in the bow fishing that we were planning on doing. I won't show too much of that, and I will go ahead and jump pretty quickly to the angry person encounter that I'm about to show y'all, and I'll kind of explain more what happened when we get there, and I'll show y'all all the laws that are going on and how we were in the right. But I just want to go ahead and show y'all that. Thank y'all so much for watching. It was definitely an interesting day. I hope y'all enjoy the video, and I will meet back up with y'all when I start to get yelled at by a random old man. What is going on, fellow fishing adventurers? Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different here on the channel. I've got my bow fishing setup, my bow, and today we are out super early and we're going to be targeting some invasive species out in this beautiful river. Texas Parks and Wildlife actually encourages you to take these species out. We'll talk more about that later. I'm super pumped, super early, and I've already seen a few of the fish that we are targeting, so let's get into it. Close. I see one. I see him. He stopped in a pocket. He's right straight in front of my arrow. Well, now the time has officially come. So as y'all just saw, I got one shot off at a tiny little suckerfish and I missed it. So we decided to move spots to another spot pretty close to there. Well, this is the spot that pretty quickly in the bow fishing at this particular spot, we had the encounter with an old man. Now, I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of context right now, and then I'll, you know, talk over it with y'all as we go along with it. Well, the context is we moved spots, right? And I was across the river. So there's a pier, a bit long bridge kind of thing going across the section of river. And my dad was on one side because we had seen some tilapia right when we walked up. So my dad was on one side trying to spook the tilapia to me. So I was literally across the river. That's when this old man came up. Now, one thing I want to make very clear is while I am going to be talking about in this video, showing y'all, talking over like the points that he was wrong, and while we are in the right, with literally legally, like we are in the right with the laws and everything, and while he wasn't right, I am not going to be making any big digs on this old man. I don't want to be, you know, making fun of this old man. Obviously, there's a very small chance that he's going to see this video. I didn't shout out my channel name to him after he got mad at us, but still, I don't want to make fun of this old man. He was an older man, and me and my dad were talking about it. We honestly don't blame him for approaching a minor with a bow, because that does look a little bit weird, especially if he didn't notice, which you can tell in the footage he did notice that my dad was with me. So it looks like I was alone by myself, a minor, and I have a bow. And you know, if he doesn't understand bow fishing, which you can clearly tell he doesn't from the footage, it does, you know, you don't know what I'm doing. It looks like I'm just shooting at random stuff in the water. Well, so that's one thing. But it is another thing that I'm going to talk about is that's fine if he approaches. Like, we think that that's fine, but the things he said were incorrect. He also got pretty heated pretty quickly in, but I hope y'all enjoy this footage because it's pretty interesting, and I was very, very excited when I got home that my camera was rolling, so I was pumped for that. Without further ado, let's get into it. I don't know, what should I call this? The encounter with the old man. Yeah. Can't bow fish?
So, bow and arrow is firearms not allowed in city limits.
Sorry, what?
Firearms, which a bow and arrow are not allowed in the city limits.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that bow and arrows.
And also, the only one that you can legally shoot is carp. You understand that? Right?
Yeah, it's carp, gator gar, and tilapia, and there's tilapia right here. You're looking for, yeah.
Yeah, but you're in the park. It's a firearm.
So now, this is where things get really interesting. So as y'all just saw the raw footage of the encounter with the old man. So, first things first, he was calling my bow and arrow a firearm, which I will go ahead and pop up a screen of me looking at it. A bow and arrow is not a firearm. We knew that in the moment. That's what my dad was saying. It is not a firearm, and it is legally not a firearm. A firearm, by definition, the ammunition is propelled or shot by an explosive. And, you know, I don't blame the guy for confusing my arm, looking like an explosive, but still, it's not an explosive. A bow and arrow is powered by human strength, so therefore, it is not a firearm. Another key thing is that he was actually saying that you're not allowed to have a firearm in the city limits.
Firearms, which a bow and arrow are not allowed in the city limits.
Now, we are 95% sure that he meant a city park limit is what we believe he meant, but you're definitely allowed to have them in city limits. But yes, we were not positive if you could have them in city park limits, and it is pretty clear that it looks like we are in a city park. And I'll just go ahead and tell you the park. It is Landa Park in New Braunfels. Well, we were actually not, because we were not clear. We looked up the legal outline of Landa Park, like the actual city's outline, the land that is considered Landa Park, and we were outside of the property line. You can actually see the sidewalk that is the inn. That's why it stops, and I'm about 10 feet outside of that. I also never took a shot off and in that particular section, but I was still considered outside of it legally. And as you can see, I actually had to walk up closer to the line to talk to the man, and even then I still didn't cross it. I'll pop up a picture of the map. You can see I was outside of the property line. Another thing is, you may have heard my dad say we are licensed. Well, that is true. All you need to bow fish, at least in the state of Texas, is a freshwater, saltwater fishing license, and that is what we have. I actually don't have to have one because I'm under 17, but my dad does have one, so we are good to go. He also said that you're only allowed to shoot carp, and while I responded pretty quickly with you are allowed to shoot carp, gar, and tilapia, there's actually thousands of species you can shoot. Texas Parks and Wildlife, it gives you very simple rules. You can bow fish any fish as long as it is not considered a game fish, or listed as a game fish on their website, or listed as a protected or endangered fish. So there are actually hundreds and thousands of species that you can bow fish, but I just wanted to respond real quick so that we wouldn't get into an argument of him finding out I'm shooting tilapia and he thinks I'm doing something illegal there. We are allowed to shoot tilapia, carp, gator gar, and like I actually mentioned in the intro of this video, it's actually encouraged because they are invasive, so it actually helps to take them out. So now that we've clarified that a bow and arrow is not a firearm, you don't have to have a special license, it's just a fishing license, and we were outside of the park limits, which is legal then to bow fish if you're outside of city park limits in New Braunfels, Texas. We were doing everything right. He did get mad at us, he was in the wrong, and we were respectful and left right after that because we don't want to cause any trouble. But it just shows y'all there are going to be some crazy people out there, and I'm not calling this man crazy, but there are going to be some people out there that are just in the wrong, and I would just recommend be respectful as you can. If they, like that guy got pretty heated, if they get more heated than that, then yes, maybe you really start going, hey man, these are the laws, you need to know what you're talking about. We try to just be nice and get out of there, even though we were in the right, as you can clearly tell. Thank you all so much for watching the video, though. It was definitely a very interesting experience for me, that one of which I will always remember. And leave a comment down below if you want to see another, hopefully hopefully a video that it goes more smoothly, is that a word? Hopefully a video of bow fishing that goes a little bit smoother. There we go. And I do want to make another bow fishing video. Hopefully we don't have an encounter like that. If you did enjoy the video, I would love it if you maybe consider subscribing if you haven't, maybe leaving a like. And one last point I would like to just kind of show y'all. you know, I said I wasn't gonna be making any digs on the old man, and I'm really trying not to, but is it just me, or did he jaywalk to me and jaywalk back?